I know that the Sims team was really trying something new and different, and while I do give them kudos for that, I think that they should stay in their own lane.
But you did this for what?
Why not?
Why?
Why not?
Why though?
Hi there, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. Either way, I'm super excited to have you here. Now, for today's video, it's tea time. In this edition of Giving My Opinion When No One Asked For It, we're talking about game packs. Again, I am using TierMaker, and again, this is a template I made, and I can link it for you in the description down below, so you too can share your opinions that nobody wanted. We back. Not that you noticed I was gone. For you, it's been a continuous thing, but I've been gone for almost an hour since I filmed the very first part of this video, even though it wasn't that long. It was my cat's food time, and then I got distracted, so now it's later and the lighting looks worse, but we're here and we're gonna do it. The first pack is Outdoor Retreat. This is the first game pack that we had for The Sims 4, and I think it might have been the first DLC we had. Do not quote me on that. I do not know what I'm talking about, but I just remember it being one of the early ones for sure. So let me rate her. So that is where Outdoor Retreat goes for me. And that is because honestly, I just never use this pack. I don't really have my Sims go on vacation, and definitely not to Outdoor Retreat. Nothing against Outdoor Retreat, or I guess the world is Granite Falls. Actually, I think that Granite Falls is really pretty. I kind of wish it wasn't a vacation world. I don't know. I feel like the way that vacations work in The Sims 4 isn't ideal. Maybe it's just because like you can't check the weather, and so half the time I get there and it's rainy or snowy, and that's not fun. I want to go hiking. Not that our Sims can really hike. They technically can, but it just wander through the slightly terrained woods, but you know, it's not the same. Do you see my cat? In case you missed my last video where I talked about them, his name is Cole. Can you guess what video game character he's named after? He is named after a video game character. There are 2 correct answers. Let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, getting distracted. Outdoor Retreat. I don't really have anything against it. I just never use it. The cast that came with it is pretty weak. There's not a lot of it, and it's all camping themed, so it's a lot of flannel and plaid, but not in the good way. And I say that because I have flannel right now, so I can't exactly be ragging on it, but just the style of the items it comes with are not really my thing. And I think you can tell it's one of the earliest game pack in the way the whole thing is presented. That being said, the world is really pretty, and if you want your Sims to go on a woodsy vacation, then Outdoor Retreat is the right pack for you. It just isn't really the right pack for me. Alright, so the next pack is Spa Day. Funnily enough, for me, it goes on that same tier as Outdoor Retreat. I feel the same way about these 2 early game packs. I think that you can tell that they are some of the first game packs we had before they really knew what they wanted game packs to be, and I'm gonna be honest, I just never have my Sims go to the spa. I know I always talk about gameplay, and it is really nice to have another place to go and another thing to do, but it just still feels like a really young adult focused thing to do. And also my Sims are never rich enough to go to the spa, because as soon as you have too much money in The Sims, it's not as fun anymore. So I feel like I could count on one hand the amount of times I've ever had my Sims go to the spa, and I've had this pack since it came out. That being said, some of the build and buy items it comes with are really good. Some of the furniture is awesome. A lot of it is very for a spa, you know, like the massage beds and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of the decor is really nice. It's just not really my style. It's a little bit too modern for my everyday use, which is why I have it so low, but I've seen other people rank it higher, and I can easily see why. If you really want your Sims to go to the spa, or if modern aesthetic is your style, couldn't even think of the right word because I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to modern things. But if that is your kind of vibe, then this is definitely a good pack. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't have anything against it really. It's just not my forte. Next on our list is Dine Out. Let me explain. In theory, this pack is so good, and it would be one of my favorites. The problem is that it doesn't work. It's broken. It takes your Sims so long to eat at a restaurant. Literally, every time I have my Sims go on a date at a restaurant, the date has ended before I can even complete the goals, because it always tells you to socialize about the food, and you can't do that until you have your food, and you never get your food in the amount of time a date takes in The Sims 4. I love restaurants, and I love the potential they have in The Sims 4, and I think it's really cool that you can run your own, but running your own is even worse than trying to go to one. They're so buggy, and everything takes forever, and I think that they've done a patch or two trying to fix it, but it still just doesn't work the way I want it to. How come a bartender can make my drink almost immediately, but it takes the restaurant such a long time? I get that it's more realistic, but in The Sims, there's this really fine line of waiting in a realistic way and then just being irritating. Like when it's difficult to complete the date because I had to wait too long for the game, I think that that is a problem. I do really like some of the items in this pack, and I feel like bad for ranking it so low, but it just doesn't work for me, and it never really has. And so I think you should definitely be careful before buying this pack. A lot of the items are nice. The plants that it comes with are great. I know that's a random fact, but there's this one plant. I'll show you a picture. This plant is the OG. In fact, this plant is trying to convince me to raise it up a ranking, but the game functionality is so lacking that I feel like I have to leave it there. I really hope it gets revisited and fixed at some point in the future because I want this pack to be better. I think it had a lot of potential, and I'm sad that it doesn't really run for everybody. Now, as you might be aware, I'm not really an occult player. The principle of a whole pack based on vampires isn't really something that I would enjoy. It doesn't fit into my normal gameplay. But that being said, it gets ranked pretty high. And do you want to know why? Because I'm going to tell you. That's the point of the video. The power system that the vampires have, where as they level up and gain more vampire points, I don't know what they're called, is crazy. It's so good. This was the first occult pack that we had for The Sims 4, and I think this is when I realized that even though the approach that they're taking is different than The Sims 3, I actually like this more. Sound the alarm. I like a thing more in The Sims 4 than I do in The Sims 3. What is going on? Anyway, I just think that the way that they're approaching the occults, where they have their own specific game pack, gives them the opportunity to be a lot more fleshed out and a lot more enjoyable to the player. When I play as a vampire, I really do feel like there are advantages and disadvantages, and it really is a different experience, which is what I'm looking for when I get DLC. I want something different. I want something that affects my game, and I want something that feels like it really adds to it. And the way that the power system works, I remember watching the trailer about it, and I got so excited. And I don't even really play with occults. I bought the pack right away, and I played with a vampire, and I still do sometimes create a vampire and play it just to kind of experiment with the powers and stuff like that. A lot of the build and buy is very stylized. It's a lot of like gothic, I don't know if that's the right word, almost dark Victorian kind of vibes. And the world that it comes with is really small. But The Sims at Caleb Vitor, no one, just me. Okay. But seriously, I think Vampires is a really good pack, and some of the items that it comes with are really usable for a bunch of different scenarios. It comes with a bunch of spider webs and wall and floor pieces that you can use to add like water stains and cracks, and it just really helps you build something that looks super old or super dilapidated. And I think that that was a really cool thing to add to otherwise kind of niche pack that makes it more appealing in a broad circle. If you're looking for a game pack and you haven't played with vampires in The Sims 4 before, I would say give it a shot. It's really fun and it's different from what I normally do, and I really like that about it. Now, considering what I just said about how I don't normally play with occults and that family gameplay is more my style, this shouldn't really surprise you, but just in case, here we go. Parenthood is the best game pack that The Sims 4 has, and honestly might ever have. And I know that a lot of people don't love this pack as much as I do because they're comparing it to The Sims 3 Generations. I talked in my last ranking packs video, which I will link in the description and also on the end card. Go check it out. I ranked all the expansion packs. I briefly touched on there that at first I wasn't sure about including an S tier for these videos because in my opinion, no DLC for The Sims 4 is going to be perfect because The Sims 4 isn't perfect. So I can't say that any of its DLC is amazing and I wouldn't change anything and it's super awesome the way that the S tier I think kind of implies, because the game isn't like that for me. However, in the scope of Sims 4 game packs, Parenthood is the top. And let me just light spoiler alert, it is the only one in the S tier, and that's because it's the best one by a lot, in my opinion. The reason I love Parenthood so much is very similar to the reason I love Seasons so much, in that it impacts your game. Parenthood implements 5 character value traits that you can use to influence your child and teen and toddler Sims as they grow up. It is something that can affect your gameplay every day if you're playing with a family and choose to use the character value traits. Well, not choose to use because they're there either way, and you can influence them passively or directly. For example, if your Sims do their homework when they get home from school, their responsibility will go up. You can also have them do school projects and take out the trash and everything to try and raise those levels higher. If parents have a high enough parenting skill, they can also teach these values to their children and teens and toddlers. I think that the idea of this pack is really cool, and for The Sims 4, they executed as well as they could. I do also love The Sims 3 Generations, so I think that what we've learned here is that this type of pack is just right up my alley. A pack that's focused on family gameplay and changing how life states work with each other and how developed they are is definitely for me. Parenthood is my favorite game pack by a lot, and you're going to see that as we continue on with this ranking. All right, now we are on to Jungle Adventure. In my opinion, another really good pack. This was the stretch of game packs where I was really happy they were a thing and I was down with it. It was the perfect in between of expansion packs and stuff packs, and I really liked some of the game packs that we had had, especially those 3 that came in a row, also the 3 at the top of my list. So let's talk about Jungle Adventure. I did put her pretty high, especially considering earlier I said that I don't love vacation worlds. And I did it anyway because this world is so beautiful. It is so underrated. It is one of the prettiest worlds in this game, and that's the tea. That's the tea. So Jungle Adventure is a great pack. I use a lot of the items all the time. I had this lapse of judgment where I didn't realize how good the items the Jungle Adventure comes with. The kitchen counters, the dining hutch, the flooring, that one mirror. You know that one mirror. Vexella uses it all the time, and TBH, I get it. Some of the items that come with Jungle Adventure are so good. I feel like this pack is slept on. If you're looking for another game pack and you already have Parenthood Vampires, it is honestly 100% my next recommendation. I do not use the gameplay of it that often, so I know it's weird to be recommending it, but let me just explain. Obviously, I love the items, and the archaeology skill, while really cool, isn't my thing, and there are definitely some missed opportunities. I wish there had been a career included, and as always, I wish vacation worlds or residential worlds, or that we could decide if they are. I know there's mods for that, but that's not my style. I don't love mods that hugely change the gameplay like that. Anyway, I think that Jungle Adventure is a really good pack, honestly, and the cast is pretty good, the items are incredible, like we've said, and the world is gorgeous. All right, there has been another lighting change. We are chasing the sun here, people. I just really want to get this video recorded all in one-ish session. I just don't want to be wearing different clothes and look totally different, because when you have naturally curly hair, it looks different every time you do it. So here we are. We only have 2 packs left, so let's get to it. Now, Strangerville. Thankfully, I don't have a lot to say about this pack, and I don't think anyone is surprised. I hope not. I'm sorry if Strangerville is your favorite pack, but it's my least favorite pack. I know that the Sims team was really trying something new and different, and while I do give them kudos for that, I think that they should stay in their own lane. I think that it was definitely an interesting choice and a story-based game pack. To be fair, I did have a lot of fun the first time I played it, and then I never played it again because why would you? And the story doesn't change at all. I do love story games, but only when your choices kind of change what happens and you can really change the outcome and how people think of you and everything like that. And that's not really how The Sims work. So trying to incorporate a story into a sandbox game just ended up leaving me unfulfilled and wishing it was a spin-off like The Sims Medieval where I could really dive deep and really enjoy it. I think I played through it in like less than 2 hours and then I never touched it again. So to me, it's not really worth it unless this is super your style. Some of the items it comes with are really cool. A lot of them aren't super useful because they're just, you know, the creepy kind of cluttery lab decor items. But some of them are really nice. There's definitely some nice Western cowboy clothes if that's your kind of thing. Yeehaw, you know, I've got nothing against you and your yeehaws. I'm just not one. I'm just not a yeehaw. What? Anyway, Strangerville. I think that the world is actually pretty and kind of underrated, but I understand why no one uses it because there's no option to turn off this pack. If there was an option when you're starting a new game to just say, nope, I don't want the mother plant, I don't want the strangeness, just pretend like it's already been fixed, then I would like this pack a lot more and I would actually use the world. Right now I never use it because you build, you know, your nice little suburban house and you put your nice little family in it and you walk down the street and the mayor's like tweaking. I know that he's not actually tweaking, but you know, Also, sorry for the light spoiler. I just told you about the mother plant. I'll add in a text spoiler alert before I said that, but saws. Anyway, Strangerville, it's not my jam. I get that some people really like it, and obviously, I do want to say this for this video and the last ranking packs video and the next one I'm going to make. Just because I don't like a pack doesn't mean that you can't, and just because I love a pack doesn't mean you don't have to. The great thing about this game is that we can all have different experiences, and they make a bunch of different packs to fit different people's needs. I'm just sharing how I feel so you can get to know me a little bit better and find out why I use some things all the time, and why, if you didn't know better, you'd think that I didn't have my first pet stuff installed. And TBH, I usually do disable before I load up the game. The last pack. Now, at the time of recording, Realm of Magic is the most recent game pack, and it took me forever to settle on how I felt about it and where I wanted to rank it. And you've probably been wondering, oh, what's that empty rank B? When are you going to put something in it? Well, now's your time. Realm of Magic is in its own rank, and that's because my thoughts on it are so divided. Now, I grew up as a Harry Potter stan. I still am one. We stan the content, not the creator. Trans people are people too, at J.K. Rowling. Anyway, I love the Harry Potter universe, and I've always been really into magic and the kind of concept of that. And so I was quaking when they announced this pack. I was so excited. We had had vampires before. I really love that pack, as we know. I really like the way that they did the occult, and so I was pumped. I was pumped for Realm of Magic. And the build stuff wasn't really my style, and I knew that going into it. I knew that Art Nouveau isn't really my jam. So while those items are really nicely done, like I think the meshes are good, the windows are weird, and a lot of the items aren't really usable in a context that isn't this pack. So just kind of take that as it is when you're considering this pack. But I was so excited for the magic element, and the trailer looked so cool, and I fell in love with Morgan because they're hot. I think we all did. Anyway, I just really, really was excited for this pack, and I feel like I was let down, but it's just a case of I don't know if my expectations were too high or not. When they told us it was 2 new worlds, I thought it was too good to be true, and that's because it was. While Glimmerbrook is really pretty, it reminds me a lot of Granite Falls, and it's not that different than stuff we already have. And then the Realm of Magic, while it is technically a different world, it's the hidden world, like that one in Willow Creek. I don't remember what it's called because apparently I'm a fake fan. But I think that the Realm of Magic, I thought it was going to be so awesome, and I felt kind of let down. There's technically only one lot, which is that big magic school that looks horrendous, by the way. No tea, no shade, just a little bit of tea and a little bit of shade. But it's only the one lot, and while the area around is larger and you can go to a couple of different islands, there's like a dueling club you can go to, and then the little like shop area, which is very Diagon Alley, and I really, really like that shop area. There's only the one editable lot, and that's the big magic school. It's not technically a school, but it kind of has that vibe. It's where all of the sages are, and it's where you can go to learn more. But you can't have Sims live there, and I don't know, man. There's something about this pack that just gets me so sad because that sounds so bad. It just makes me sad because I felt like it could have been so much. It could have been the one. I was rooting for this pack. I don't know. I really wanted this pack to be good. And I'm not saying it's not, because it is not horrible. It's a pretty good pack. As you can see, I like it a lot more than 4 of the other game packs. It's almost in the middle. It's an even number, so obviously there's no direct middle spot, but here we are. I think it had more potential. I love that there's the 3 different schools of magic, and again, it has a similar power system to the vampires, and I really appreciate that level of depth. For the occult sims, I really appreciate the way that they're doing occults in this game versus previous games by giving them more attention. R.I.P. mermaids. I don't know. I think that while there is the 3 different kind of schools of magic, they all feel the same because there aren't really any consequences. You can get curses from any of them, and there is no big thing with this pack. The trailers talked a lot about balance between the 3 schools of magic, and there isn't really evidence of that anywhere in the game. I've had Sims go all the way with all 3 different types of magic, and I didn't notice any real change other than the spells that they could do. And I wish that there had been more. When they mentioned that kind of balance thing in the trailers, I got really excited, and then it seemed like they just completely ignored it. Also, can we talk about what the trailer sims looked like versus what they look like in game? Because that alone is very underwhelming. TBH, that might be why I find this whole pack underwhelming, because I'm pretty sure I got it, immediately went to the magic world, discovered it was all one lot, saw Morgan and all the others in the game, and was just, what happened? I was rooting for her.
I was rooting for you! We were all rooting for you! How dare you!
I don't know, man. All of those negatives being said, it is still a pretty good pack. In the similar way to vampires, I do specifically make sims for it sometimes and really enjoy playing it when I do, but it's not something that I play with all the time. And unlike vampires, it doesn't really have any super usable build or cast items that kind of make up for the fact that it's pretty niche. So take that as you will. Realm of Magic isn't a bad pack, it's just not a great one. Alright, so that is the end of ranking the game packs in The Sims 4. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to subscribe and give it a thumbs up if you did. Leave a comment down below and let's start a conversation. Let me know if you agree with me or not. How do you feel about these packs? Just remember to be nice, have fun, stay positive, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.